time to drink. Welcome to the breakdown, episode 655. I'll say that again, episode 655. I gotta get my shit together here. Gotta get my shit together. We got two guests coming on today. I said we got two guests coming on today. All right, so I'm in the penalty box on TikTok. And I was told that I'm in the penalty box on TikTok for mentioning the number one for having Tommy Robinson on. So having Tommy Robinson on has me in the penalty box, which sucks. I think it's a week or 2 weeks or some shit like that. That I'll be that sucks. That really sucks, man. I thought hold on. I don't know why this shit keeps on falling, but I thought we had new owners at TikTok. I thought we had new ownership, but apparently Epstein was mentioned, and it is true. It is true that Epstein and certain other words are not allowed to be said on TikTok. So I don't know how I feel about this. Don't know. I've just built a lovely community on TikTok. A lovely community on TikTok. It's crazy. Absolutely mind-boggling. But shout out to everybody who's tuning in. Episode 655, sponsored by Midnight and also Gemini. Shout out to both. We wouldn't be here if we didn't have the sponsors. I guess I got to deal with it on the TikTok side. And I enjoy my battles and my discussions on TikTok. But I guess I got to go ahead and keep trooping it. I also didn't make a fan in Nick, the head of product on X, for letting my thoughts be known about Solana influencers being put on a pedestal, or people being propped up from the Solana ecosystem and everybody else being deboosted. And I absolutely 100% believe that was happening for months. For months that was happening. It wasn't happening for a few days. It wasn't a glitch in the algorithm. It was legitimately people were being suppressed. Old school OG crypto bros being suppressed. The people that actually helped build crypto Twitter, now crypto X, whatever you want to call it, being suppressed. We all know it. Every single major account knows it. That's why half the accounts left. Half the accounts left and went elsewhere due to the suppression. It's crazy. It's crazy. We built something really cool here too. But the head of product, and I'll keep saying this, and I hope it gets clipped up, and I hope he sees this, decided to go ahead and silence the people that built this goddamn place and built the foundation. You can even see it. You can even see it. You know what? I'm sitting here and thinking about it. You can see it. And I'm going to start this with the memes, right? I'm going to talk about the memes. Why? Because the memes will allow you to understand where I'm coming from. Every single cycle in CT, all you saw were memes. Let's particularly stick to last cycle. Let's talk about the 2020, 2021 cycle. You saw memes. And the memes were on Ethereum. And even you can say the memes were on BNB, Binance Chain, whatever. Even 2023, when Pepe popped off, it was Ethereum. And then it was Pepe, then it was Bobo, then it was Sneebu, then it was Dodo, and then it was Wojak. I could keep going. There was a bunch that just started. You had the Boys Club, everything. Either on Ethereum, on particularly EVM chains. Then all of a sudden, everything shut down. All of a sudden, everything slowly started to shut down. Ethereum brand names, and I'm talking about real. You know what? Let's even bring in these fake KOLs and influencers. You had influencers that were Ethereum based, Binance based. They started to slowly disappear. Slowly, they started to get deboosted. And what did you see? What did you see? What you saw was Pump.fund take off. You saw Solana stuff. Bonk was obviously the start there. Bonk took off. And then slowly Pump.fund started taking off. And slowly but surely, we started to get the entire Solana ecosystem into play. You started to get all the tickers here into play. And this is not about reinventing yourself or anything like, no. People were popping up out of nowhere. No, we don't know half of these people. I've asked the council, do you know any of these? Nope. Never seen them. Never heard of them. You have people saying that they called something. Nobody even seen them. No one's seen them around. People are being propped up. This is not jealousy either. Well, I'm good. I'm perfectly fine. But I like to go ahead and talk about things like this because they're true. Because slowly, big names started to fade away. Even Bitcoiners, even people who talked about Bitcoin started getting suppressed. That's when that's the moment you knew. But you couldn't confirm it until the man named Nick, that's what I'm going to call him, Nick. He came out on the timeline. He came out on the timeline and he said to the crypto Twitter community that you should post less. And that's when Elon came out and said, what the fuck are we talking about? What are we talking about? Algorithm has gotten a little bit better, but it's still not there yet. You cannot have, respectfully speaking, I don't even have a grudge against this guy, even though he cost people millions of dollars. This guy cost people millions of dollars, and I don't even have a grudge. I don't. Think about it. He cost people millions of dollars. Millions. For real. Millions of dollars. He made 50% of the people that built crypto Twitter leave to other platforms, be more aggressive on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok. Shout out to TikTok. People saw their brands start falling apart because they were getting suppressed. They're coming out with banger tweets. Nobody's seeing them. So people left and they built brands elsewhere, which you should. I've always said this. You got to be on multiple streams. You got to be on multiple social media platforms. You cannot stick to just one platform. You will absolutely destroy your brand. Replay some of my podcasts, replay some of my shows. I've consistently said if you are building a brand, you need to branch out. You cannot be on one platform because at any given moment, the algorithm, as we've seen, changes. You get somebody who leads the algorithm, like this guy, the head of product, who's leading it, and he's catering to his friends. He's catering to a platform that he's aligned with, which then is suppressing everybody else. It's the truth. It is the truth. Anyway, let's go ahead and look at what's in the news here today, ladies and gentlemen. Bitcoin stalls near 88,000 to 89,000. Bitcoin has been range bound around $88,000, failing to reclaim key resistance while liquidity remains thin. Markets describe this as sideways, risk off mood, with traders watching safe haven flows and macro catalysts. ETH and other majors are trading and tracking sideways as well, reflecting caution, positioning ahead of major political events. We had Trump talk to the governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz, dancing feet. Tim Walz or whatever. Tim Walz is weird. They talked, and apparently Tom Homan is going down to Minnesota, and he's going to be the main guy in charge. Hopefully, Tim Walz and his cronies can go ahead and put an end to this shit that they have going on there, deflecting from all the fucking fraud that has happened in Minnesota. Think about this. ICE is in all 50 states. I want everybody to think about this real quick before we move forward. ICE is in all 50 states. Why is it only Minnesota that is having a problem? Why is there an uprising in Minnesota? Why is there so much deflection being pushed away from the real shit that's going on there that Nick Shirley exposed, which was all these daycare centers, caking millions of dollars. Think about that. ICE has been in Minnesota for the longest time. All of a sudden, as soon as the daycare center shit got exposed by Nick Shirley, we had riots in the street. We had people go against ICE. If you think this is not planned out, it is planned out 100%. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. This shit is absolutely planned out. I want you to go just look at the news. You really didn't have much ICE talk here and there, but it wasn't really like this. Uprisings happen as soon as the daycare center shit came out. We'll get to that, though. We'll get to that. Why all this matters, though, with the markets? This tells you the market isn't in a panic, but it's waiting. Key drivers like institutional demand and macro news are moving capital more than price signals now. So that's what it is, really. And if you look at all the institutional players who you guys have fell in love with, they've all come out and they've all stated this is about to bottom out. The markets are about to bottom out. Bitcoin's about to bottom out. We're about to go in. We're buying. We're still buying. That's all you hear from the institutional side of things. So what should you be doing in crypto? You should be front running the institutions and the banks. That's what you should be doing. Instead of waiting, you should be front running, okay? If you buy Bitcoin at $88,000 and it goes to $78,000, then buy at $78,000. Dollar cost average. That's how you win. Patience, dollar cost average, spot buying, that's it. That is it. You don't need to play. Listen, you want to play with leverage? You think you're experienced enough? Go for it. But I'm telling you, you don't need to play with that. You want to become a multimillionaire? spot buy, DCA, hold, sell in the green. That's it. It's very simple, hard to execute, but totally a simple. It's a simple method of becoming a multimillionaire. It just requires patience. It requires patience. That's it. Let's move on to more crypto sentiment, which is mixed. GameFi and niche tokens outperform. Some sectors like Infinity and certain GameFi tokens jumped in value and price, showing selective risk appetites. Independent rallies like Hype Token, up 20%, suggest fundamental demand niches are still alive even when majors chop. That is true, though. I've been watching a few things that just popped off of my wallet and I forgot about them, and then I'm like, why is my wallet in the green? And I'm like, what is this? I don't even remember buying this. But then I remember, holy shit, I bought this a while ago, man. Holy, you decide to go now. I mean, it's crazy. Anyway, projects are reporting 300% growth year to date, which is showing that investors chasing growth themes with real use cases are here. So slowly people from the institutional side and VC side are going after, and investors that have money that are on the sideline, they're going after niche plays. GameFi, listen, I think gaming is going to be huge. I think the gaming space is going to be absolutely big. A lot of people thought it was going to be big 2, 3, 4 years ago, but I've always said this, for the gaming side of things, you need to get, and you will have, like GTA, right? You need them to integrate crypto into the game. You need Call of Duty to integrate crypto into their games. Rather than, and I know this is the unpopular take because I was on many shows, I was on the street multiple times debating this with others that obviously are building out gaming platforms on blockchain. I'm like, it would be so much better if we integrate current games that are popular like Fortnite onto the blockchain, making it easier to onboard people into this ecosystem. That was my take on things. That was my take on things because gaming is huge. Gaming is huge. It has a huge demographic. It has a huge audience. It has a young demographic. You want that. You want that ecosystem. And I think the best way to do it is to bring it from the Web 2 world rather than create it from the Web 3 world. But I'll get a lot of shit for that as well. So bottom line, Bitcoin rotation within crypto can happen even when Bitcoin is stalled. These are the early signs of capital seeking or alt growth in certain areas here in the ecosystem. There you go. I'm watching real quick to see if TikTok will honor their word and fucking lift my ban. Jesus Christ. Institutional development. Let's look. Analysts highlight the broader narrative that after recent blowups in yield products, investors are reevaluating safe yield in crypto. The space now holds $6 billion in safer yield trades post 2022 turmoil, but caution not to get too excited. Do we not remember Celsius? Do we not? Never mind. You know what? You guys do what the fuck you want to do. Binance coverage notes institutional crypto activity rises even as Bitcoin sits flat, suggesting deeper players are accumulating quietly. I've been saying this. You got deep pockets that are accumulating Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana. I can keep on going. They are grabbing XRP. They're grabbing everything that they know will send while you guys are still scratching your heads and wondering if you should go in or not. You guys wait for green candles to go into crypto. This is how stupid you are. No matter how many shows that I can have, no matter how many people who actually have shows that are decent can come out there and drop value for you, you don't listen. And I'm not saying you should listen to every word that I say. All I'm saying is, I'm telling you, I'm going in. I'm front running the market. You're sitting there scratching your nuts. You're waiting for a green candle to get confirmation of something that we're talking about right now. You're supposed to buy in the red. I swear to God, I'm going to get Warren Buffett on here. I'm going to ask Warren Buffett, have you bought in the green? Did you make your wealth in the green? Listen, if you go into the red and you pick up some of these assets, not all of them are going to win. Like I can 100% like say like not all these things are going to win. Not all these things are going to win. But at least you give yourself a chance. Jump into 10, 5, even if one wins. If you jump into 10 and let's say you get 2 out of 10 right. Congratulations. You're probably a multi-millionaire. Especially in crypto. It's still not too late. It's still not too late. It's not too late. And why this all matters. Institutional flows and strategic narratives move markets more than short-term price action. Today's sideways move is part of that buildup. And it really is. XRP ecosystem developments. Let's go ahead and talk about XRP for the bros on TikTok. Ripple formed new partnership. Let's do that again. Ripple formed new partnerships in the Middle East and Africa aimed at cross-border payments and institutional utility, and announced XRP Community Day, February 11th, featuring CEO Brad Garlinghouse. So let's say that again. XRP Army over there, they're celebrating because Ripple formed new partnerships in the Middle East and Africa aimed at cross-border payments and institutional utility, and announced XRP Community Day on February 11th, which will feature their CEO, Brad Garlinghouse. There you go. XRP ETFs continue to draw interest with total accumulation inflows in the hundreds of millions across multiple products. Guys, do me a favor on TikTok. I want to see something. Share the room. Share the live with everybody you know. Share the live with your grandmother, your grandfather. Okay? Share it with everybody. Your ex-girl, your ex-boyfriend, your ex-teachers, your elementary teachers, your high school teacher. Share it with everybody. I want to see if that's even allowed to be done here. I knew it. I said to myself, should I keep TikTok on? Should I go live on TikTok when I had Tommy Robinson on? I could do it on YouTube. I could care less about the demonetization shit over there. X allows you to talk. LinkedIn doesn't care. They're sleeping. I knew TikTok would hammer me. I knew TikTok would hammer me, man. I knew TikTok would say, absolutely not. We'll put you in the goddamn timeout box. Put me in the goddamn penalty box. Put me in the goddamn penalty box. And by the way, TikTokers, my fam on TikTok, if you can go ahead and double click your asses off, I'd appreciate it. Why all this matters for XRP? More real world integration and institutional vehicles equals long-term adoption narratives for Ripple and XRP. I'm sure right now the XRP army is gooning off in their current bathrooms or in their grandmother's basements, eating a bowl of chunky soup. That's right. They're eating chunky soup or Campbell's soup. Is that Campbell still? Is that chunky soup? Is Campbell? Is it made by Campbell? I don't know. I never ate that shit. Let's go on to financial markets. Stocks mix as traders look to macro catalysts. U.S. equity markets have recently seen short rallies, but today's crypto-linked markets paint a risk-off mood. Precious metals like gold and silver continue to attract capital. Man, instead of all these shit coins, you guys should have been in, should have gone into gold, silver, and next is copper. I mean, copper is next then. Platinum and silver have been highlighted as strong alternatives for risk-averse investors. So soon, platinum and platinum. Well, watch watch everything pop off on the precious metal side. I know I'm fucking shadow banned on TikTok. Fucking TikTok. I'm gonna move to up scrolling. That's right. I'm moving to up scrolling. You will not shut me down. Why all this matters, by the way, for the financial markets. Money is flowing to safer store of values, even as crypto remains on the sidelines. Watch gold as a sentiment barometer. Dollar weakens, tariffs overhang, affects sentiment, dollar declines. The dollar decline ties to trade tensions and broader risk adverse through markets today. I mean, yeah, the dollar is sinking, man. The dollar is not looking so good. I got the Gemini credit card. Hold on, let's see. I got the Gemini credit card. I get sold back on purchases. What's up, Dave? Oh, so you finally got the Gemini credit card. After me talking about the Gemini credit cards, which are issued by WebBank for weeks, months, you finally decided to get the Gemini credit card that gives you 4% back in crypto, up to 4% back on your purchases. Congratulations. You are no longer a stupid person. You're a smart person. So good for you, Dave's Coins. Let's go to political and regulatory conversations on crypto. The White House crypto advisor. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. No, I meant it. White House crypto advisor Patrick Witt called Davos 2026 a turning point for global crypto normalization, pushing the U.S. narrative towards crypto infrastructure and regulation. Also, Shark Tank's investor Kevin O'Leary says meaningful crypto regulation can still arrive, but midterm politics and committee delays are slowing progress. Yo, I don't want this fucking Clarity Act bill, and I'll talk about this again. The CFTC is doubling down on advisory ties with industry leaders, really, especially in prediction markets, signaling the agency's strong footprint in crypto oversight. All right. Why all this matters, real quick. Regulatory clarity means the single largest long-term catalyst for institutional flows and continued legacy. You heard what I just said, right? Long-term catalyst for institutional flows. This is what the Clarity Act is. It's all about institutional flows. It has nothing to do with retail. It is a guideline, it is a manual for how the banking system and institutions will go ahead and play in the crypto ecosystem, and it leaves out retail. It does leave out retail. It fucks retail, okay? So I rather not have anything passed than have this shitty ass bill passed, okay? Decentralization, DeFi must exist. They want to get rid of DeFi because DeFi kills the banking system. Why would anybody want to bank with a bank when they can go ahead and basically go into DeFi, unbank themselves, and actually earn real yield back on their money? It's the truth, man. It is absolutely 100% the truth. Welcome to the breakdown, episode 655. I'm here live and direct. Ever since I feel like ever since they lifted or they changed the algorithm on X, my stats are getting better, my viewership is getting better, but I am still going to focus on TikTok. I am focused on TikTok 100%, making sure that we build a tremendous audience on TikTok. And TikTok has, I got to tell you, TikTok has outperformed. The bros on TikTok, shout out to TikTok, they have outperformed my brothers and sisters on Twitter. They have. But that could be due to the suppression that we all seen. The deboosting, the stupid ass code. You know what? Why can't we go back to the algorithm of Twitter 1.0? That was the greatest algorithm. And why is everybody verified? Why can't we go back to verified check marks? You know what? Anybody who's in politics or has a political position with a government, they have a gray check mark. So you can identify who's real and who's not. We need to go back to that. A lot of us are notables. Yeah, we're notable and we want our blue check mark. Or make a different color to showcase, hey, these people are notable. Elon, I think you made one, Elon, I think one mistake you made, honestly speaking, because I get it. Like, nobody should be more special than the next. I get all that stuff. And I respect it. But this is like a participation award. Everybody gets a check mark. Listen, let them pay for the goddamn service. There's no problem. I pay over $3,000 a month for services with X. I have no problem with that. But they don't need a verified check mark. And if you want to give them some sort of verification that their account is a legit account, then come up with some other goddamn thing, like an X mark or some shit. That's why I kind of appreciate TikTok. They don't give around, verification check marks. They give it to notable people. By the way, I have a check mark on TikTok. I have a check mark on Instagram. I don't pay for that shit. I'm just saying. And now, by the way, the check mark payment system or whatever, the revenues, and God bless, man. I want Elon to make as much money as possible, man. He saved freedom of speech. God bless. God bless. We have X. X is great if you want to make sure you want to get your thoughts out without getting banned. It is a great platform, especially politically, that you can go on to and you can speak your mind. I appreciate it. But now even these bots have check marks. I have bots in my DMs with the name. The handle is Larry, but the front-facing name is like Lisa, and Lisa is asking me to go ahead and join her OnlyFans page. Okay, I can show it. I can literally show it. These Indians are not even putting effort into it. Indians, Russia. I'll name them all out. People from Pakistan trying to rob me, bro. For real. I had one on the line one time 3 years ago. They were like, man, we have a relative of yours that left you $10 million. We just need you to do so-and-so. So I purposely, because I was bored, I did that. I purposely did. I didn't actually do it, but I was just sitting in my office pretending to do the things that they were asking me to do. 3 hours. I had the guy on for 3 hours. And then he got frustrated and motherfuckered me and hung up. Told me to go get a prepaid debit card from CVS. And then put money on it and send money to him, even though he was supposed to send money to me. You see how no, never mind. It's crazy. They're trying to send you. They're telling you have a relative that left you $10 million, but you have to go to CVS and get a prepaid credit card or debit card, whatever, and you got to put $7,546. That was it. It was over. It was like $7,500 that you had to go ahead and put on your card. These people are weird. Weird. Yo, but they're good. They send you these text messages like you're late on your Easy Pass payments. Call in right now. They're good, man. Especially when they went to text messages. When they first went to text messages, that shit was scary because I was like, holy shit, man. They almost got me. They almost got me. Anyway, welcome to the breakdown. Sponsored by Midnight and also sponsored by Gemini. Let's go to that's really it. I just wanted to let's go ahead and check out what's happening in the markets in terms of numbers. Go ahead and look at numbers here. Let's look at the numbers. Okay, so right now, currently, Bitcoin is at 87,325. Ethereum's at 29.27. We have BNB at 886. We got XRP at $1.88. We got Solana at 123. We got Tron at 29. Tron does not move. Tron is at 29 cents, and that shit stays there regardless of where the market goes. Dogecoin at 12 cents. ADA is at 35 cents. I want to say something about, because I hear a lot of this talk about memes. Let's talk about memes real quick. People talk about memes, and I'm like, they're like, Pepe is the new Sheeb. Pepe is the new Doge. Pepe is king. I like Pepe. I hold Pepe. But until somebody flips Dogecoin, Dogecoin is king. That's it. Until somebody flips Shiba Inu, you get where I'm going with this. Doge and Sheeb still sit at the top. Everybody talks this whole, oh, this one is going to flip it. Y'all ain't flipped shit yet. Y'all already crowned yourself something and you're not there. You're not that guy. I think people think that Dogecoin is dead. Dogecoin's not dead. The community's active. Your algorithm doesn't show you how active the Dogecoin community is. You think Shiba Inu's dead. It's not dead. Actually, the founder came back yesterday and apparently made a post. I didn't read it, but he apparently made a post. That is like the kiss of death. You know what? When people say this is going to flip or this is the new, like how many protocols came around that said they're going to become the Ethereum killer? How many protocols came about and said that they are the Ethereum killer and all died? Every single protocol that came around and said that they are the Ethereum killer never made it. Why don't you just be you? Why do you need to say you are the Ethereum killer? Why not work alongside of Ethereum? Or why not let your product speak for itself? When honestly, as soon as somebody says they're going to kill, or they're the next Bitcoin, they're the next XRP, they're the next Solana, I don't even listen. I've already tuned out. I'm not even interested. Anyway, welcome to the breakdown. Welcome to the breakdown. Let's 1 second here. Man, I'm so proud of myself. I do everything on my own. Hold on. I feel like writing an email to fucking TikTok. See, people are like, "Oh, you're Jewish. You control everything." Bro, I get banned all the time and suppressed. You guys are funny when you say that. But you're Jewish. You can do all these things. Do what? What the fuck are you talking about? Be happy if I can fucking. No, people make me laugh when they say that, man. For real. Seriously. When people say that shit, I start laughing. I really do start laughing. People say that shit. Oh boy, hold on 1 second because somebody didn't get the message. I see a bunch of people on TikTok that just don't even say a word. No, what the fuck are you doing? No. No, 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 no. Not what we want. Give me 1 second, guys. I don't want to go to I could. Don't want to. Okay, there we go. Okay. I gotta tell you, as I sit here and I read some of these emails and DMs I get, we live in one of the most laziest generations of all time. It's true. It is very true. It's very lazy. I'll tell you why. My stats are phenomenal. They are really good stats. You'd want to like if you have a product, you'd want to be on my show. You'd want to be on my show if you have a brand. You'd want to be on my show. Why? Because you can go ahead and then showcase all this shit to the general public, right? You can go ahead and showcase every single thing to the general public. Want to make a name for yourself? Just come right onto the show. Make a name for yourself. And then you have people that are in certain positions. I'm telling you, they are in certain positions and they are clueless. They're absolutely 100% clueless. You would think you would make every effort to get on my show. I'm serious, every effort to come on my show. We have a lot of people that come onto the show too. You guys have seen it. It's just crazy. Sorry, I just had to go ahead and answer while we are on here, answer some things here. But welcome to the breakdown. This is seriously, this is an opportunity. Shout out to, by the way, we have really good people coming on in February. We had good people come on in January. We have a lot of really good people coming up in February and March from the political world and from the financial markets. My thing is like you get to come on with a professional. You get just because I have a suit on. Yeah, true. A professional usually does wear a suit. I take my show seriously. I am not just Web3, whatever that fucking word is. For me, I'm a crypto bro. I'm not no Web3 guy. And then we're talking politics, and I talk about trending stuff, and we get all these people that come on here, and there's so many eyeballs that don't know who the fuck you are, and you can come on here, and people will be like, "Oh shit, what?" Anyway, to get to the point, I read some of these things. We need to see. I was just reading this shit. We need to see the stats. Suck my dick. Okay? Why don't you go? You can just look at Go look at TikTok numbers, YouTube numbers, like it's right out there. Just go look at all the numbers and then figure out the stat. I'm not sending you shit. I don't need you on my show. I can talk for the next 2 hours without anybody. I got plenty to talk about. I'll talk about anything. It's a pleasure for you. Anyway, speaking of pleasure, this man had the pleasure of digging himself out of snow, which I had the pleasure of doing yesterday myself for 3 hours. What a workout. The snow, holy shit. I got to tell you, the snow definitely, it was up in the 300-pound range. Every fucking every shovel, man. Never mind. I wish, I got to get the electric shovels. That's what I need to get. I need to be smart. I saw a neighbor with the electric shovel. But then I thought to myself, I go to the gym, I work out. I need this. When I came back inside, I think I had frostbite. Anyway, thank God for the sauna. Let's bring in John Morgan. Jonathan Morgan, we haven't been on in a while. What's going on, my brother?
I feel a lot of, I don't know, your background. I feel very liberated. I feel very freedom. You know why there's no knock-knock jokes about America?
Why?
Because freedom rings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How's everything on your side? You said you were lifting snow.
Oh, I don't lift snow. I blow it.
You blow snow.
Yeah, snowblower. I've had the same snowblower for like 15 years. Craftsman, like back when they were made in America. So it never breaks. I think it thrives on neglect. The less soil I put in it, the longer I keep the gas in. I never change it.
I promise you that when I am elected president, that I will make sure that Craftsman makes their goods in America again.
It's quality. All right.
Tell me what's going on, man. 2000. I've been saying this. Q1 2026. I think we see crypto finally go upwards. When that happens, if it happens now, February, March, I don't know. I'm not Miss Cleo, but I just have a gut feeling. Just looking at, I don't know, just talking to people from Wall Street and other smart individuals. People also kind of agree that Q1 we will see something. What are your thoughts? Like, what's happening here? Because people are getting frustrated and impatient. They see gold and silver moving. I'm sure copper will move soon. Precious metals going crazy. What's your take here?
Well, I've been a precious metals bug forever and a day. So especially silver. So I'm like, but here's the deal. I've only been stacking silver since my grandpa and my dad started stacking it for me when I was a wee little lad. But there are some people who've been stacking gold and silver for decades. And when silver finally started to move, I just imagine them being like the old lady from the Titanic. It's been 84 years. And finally it moved. So words of hope are for crypto, we're not going to wait that fucking long. That is not how it works. There's a huge divergence between gold's movement and Bitcoin's. And if you look at the historical movement of Bitcoin versus gold, whenever there's strong deviations between the two, where gold is outperforming Bitcoin, the return to the mean, the correction is often very sudden and very violent. And that brings me to another point. Most of the gains that occur in crypto happen in 13 days. And I'm not talking about 13-day consecutive days. I'm talking like it might happen on a Tuesday in January, and then you have like 3 days in July, and then you have whatever. So timing this market is a bitch. Crypto is the definition of time in the market is more important than timing the market.
Okay. Let's go to, because I read a lot of the shit that's posted. I can't say tweet no more, but posted on X. And there are a lot of people that are like, man, will my memes ever come back? I see you guys are holding spaces on X.
Yeah.
What's your gauge there, man?
I would encourage anybody who is wondering if their altcoins are going to recover or if the broader altcoin market is going to recover, just take a look at the Bitcoin market cap chart. I don't know if that's something I can pull that up here. I'll share it. And if I can get the right window, badoom. All right. It is, can you see it?
Let's see if we can pull that in.
There you go. So let me get rid of this, that blob on the screen there. Well, let's just make it nice and clean and pretty. So this is the monthly chart. All right. So here's the current month of January. There's December. This was November. Okay. You know, when you look at that, relatively, with the exception of August, when you move into September, 59.52%. That is how much Bitcoin has control of the entire crypto market. The entire crypto market, 59.52% of it is made up of Bitcoin's market cap. There's something going on here that doesn't get a lot of attention. Not a lot of people talk about it. Bitcoin maxis, this is like their chart that they go to bed and fantasize about every night, because I don't know when Bitcoin maxis turned into crypto assholes, but that has been like the trend. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what the fuck's the matter with them. Like forever, like crypto people, Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoin people were like, yeah, let's we're all together now. Bitcoin's like, oh, excuse me, we're an asset now that BlackRock money, blah, and like they're all snooty. But when you look at the Bitcoin dominance chart, there's something going on here. Has Bitcoin been outperforming altcoins? Absolutely. Sure, like, yeah, I guess as a whole, but Bitcoin, from a technical perspective, this looks very bearish. This looks very much like a bearish continuation setup. So what that means, and I've said this before, when you look at the weekly, is that Bitcoin's market dominance has been unable to really crack or sustain a move above 60%. And when you look at the on-chain activity, so, and you know, not to get into like the nitty-gritty of on-chain analytics, when you're looking at blockchain activity, you know, like where are tokens, where are crypto moving from? Are they going to exchanges, off exchanges? Are new wallets taking in crypto? Are they getting rid of it? There's a cool thing happening right now, especially in altcoins. And also it's been happening in Bitcoin for a while. OG long-term hodlers have been selling.
Yeah.
But there's a shite ton of absorption going on, whether it's by the new entering institutional money and by new participants themselves. New wallets in the altcoin space continue to grow. They are eating up the supply. And also, while a lot of them may be underwater, they're not getting rid of it either. So there's a lot of very definite, from an on-chain perspective, very strong continued accumulation going on. And from a technical analysis perspective, when something moves, has a big move, and then there's a pause and it consolidates, and if you're looking at the thing and you're wondering, when the hell is this thing going to move? The longer it stays like that, the eventual breakout is magnified even more. So the longer we're in this kind of chop and consolidation, the eventual breakout is much more spectacular.
Do you think it's going to be violent?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. Because if you look at, this is the Bitcoin dominance chart, but if you look at the total market cap chart, all right, this is the whole crypto market. It made a new all-time high, crypto market cap all-time high, new one in October 2025. This is total 2. This is the market cap excluding Bitcoin. Made a new all-time high in October. Total 3 is the market cap excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. That made a new all-time high in October. But then you look at this guy. This is the total market cap. This is the total 3 ES. I hate these names. TradingView just needs to come up with another name, because nothing sounds exciting like saying this is total 2, total 3, total 3.
Yeah, who came up with these names, by the way?
TradingView.
Okay.
It's like somebody put like a picture of a lot of like these models in their files, or like, this is number A11BB, and then they just left it like that. They didn't change. They could have called it something else.
Yeah.
This is what I would consider the altcoin market cap chart because it is excluding Bitcoin, Ethereum, and stablecoins. It has not made a new all-time high since November of 2021. So if you have been primarily in altcoins and meme coins and all that shit, and you've been nothing but despondent for the last, especially this didn't feel November 2020 for meme coin holders, for altcoin holders, November 2021 through mid 2023 hurt, but it didn't hurt as bad as this.
Yeah.
Because select winners got to perform well. And anyways, long story short, altcoins, meme coins as a whole, they've not made their big break. They haven't made their big move yet. It's still developing and forming. There's nothing inherently bearish about this chart that I see. This is just, if this was like an hourly chart or daily chart, you'd be like, oh yeah, let's keep this going.
Yeah.
Let's watch it. Wait for this to pop. So, you spend most of your time, especially if you're in meme coins and altcoins, it's a brutal market. You spend more time miserable, hopeless, feeling like shit, waking up and looking at your phone and going, oh God. I've said it before. It's like being a Minnesota Vikings fan.
Let me ask you this, John. I believe we've been in a bear market for a while now. Like that's what I believe. I believe that there was a hell of a run on Bitcoin from the institutions, and we only saw, 6 or 7 or 8 altcoins move, but they didn't move at the same time. It was kind of like one by one, right? This in quarter one, I saw a few things move together. So that kind of made me feel, okay, I'm positive. And my thesis here in quarter one, 2026, we might see something. But it goes back to what I said earlier just now. I feel like we've been in a bear market this entire time for alts. Completely a bear market for alts. And we never moved. Like when people say, well, no, Pepe went up. I'm just naming random things out right now. When they say Pepe went up and like Bobo went up and Mog went up and these things went up, but Doge never broke its all-time high. Shiba Inu never broke its all-time high. Like there are a lot of things that never broke their all-time high. You want to go into the altcoins? Filecoin never broke its all-time high. Aave never touched its all-time high. I can keep going. Chainlink, Polkadot. I mean, a lot of these things. Cardano, like a lot of these things have not broke their all-time highs. So to me, it's like this 2026, we're getting out. We're going to see a lot of things run together, and I believe we're going to break a lot of all-time highs. That's just my personal opinion.
I would encourage people to look at like altcoins, meme coins, that anything basically in the top 100 market cap, excluding stable coins and exchange coins. Look at them like you would a small or a micro cap biotech company. Not like currently where they just get bought out by digital asset treasuries, but people who look for future value or for big spikes in medicine, they look for these tickers that are publicly traded that are developing something like a cure or a device. Yeah. And eventually something develops or happens, they get bought out for a ton. But in the meantime, what happens? The short interest grows because the same people in charge of it can lend their shares to be shorted, or it's just not interesting. So there's slow accumulation that officers, owners of the company keep buying it. There's a lot of this. Basically, the same thing happens in crypto too. When you look at the wallet activity, Chainlink is a great Chainlink. If Chainlink was a fucking company, if it was publicly traded stock, it would be 10 times what it is right now. Just because of video. It would be insane how much more valued the price of Chainlink is. I mean, Chainlink is essentially the crypto that like won the race for crypto when it comes to working with traditional finance. I mean, they're the oracle for everybody now, and there's a metric crap ton of activity that gets generated. But the point is when you look at the wallets, look at Cardano, Chainlink, Avalanche, Fetch, anything. Long-term hodler.
You see, there's so much to talk about, right? And they have not broke their all-time highs.
Right. Like Fetch is a good example. Fetch.ai, which is it's the token of Fetch, but artificial superintelligence alliance. Like they have an actual product where they are generating revenue. It's that entity generates revenue through the Kudos side of theirs. They have a very advanced AI agent, large language model. I mean, they have a very strong functioning product that generates real money revenue, and yet the token is valued at like 22 cents. It's very freaking bizarre. So there's a lot of this in the top 100 market cap where you have these tokens that have been there for a few years. They're probably there for a reason. They're probably going to stay there for a reason. And if long-term hodlers and if you're seeing institutional growth and adoption of purchasing them, if they're doing it, they're not doing it to speculate that it's going to go down. They're not concerned with what's happening this year. They're concerned with what's going to happen a few years down the road. So a lot of these altcoins that are still in the top 100, they're there for a reason, and they haven't moved because retail, the big money, they don't want retail in this shit yet. They want people upset, depressed, sad to stay away because they want to slowly trickle and accumulate and purchase and buy without affecting the price. They would love for people to be very, very complacent and irritated so they can keep their average down. It's the only thing bearish about crypto and altcoins and meme coins is the price action. That's it.
I agree with that. And I think that if you're patient, especially this year, if you just decide to become patient and just sit in your hands and do nothing, right? To me, my strategy is spot, DCA, hold, sell on the green. That's it. That's all you can do. Just sit there, pick your spots, relax.
Yeah.
If you start chasing, that's where you destroy yourself. I watch friends destroy themselves chasing. All I see here is I keep saying this and I feel repetitive, but it's recycled money. It's like you're playing at the same poker table with the same friends. It's the same money and it's just switching hands. Sit down, relax, let everything play out. Retail's not here. They're broke. We know this. $1.27 trillion consumer credit card debt. Okay. Inflation is coming down. We know that. Cool. The stimulus checks did not go out yet. Those $2,000 checks did not go out yet. Okay. People are hardly paying for their rent. People are hardly paying for their bills. They got no money. Okay. Hold on a second here. Just wait. Let the rates are going to get lowered. We will have a stimulus check that goes out. A lot of things will happen. Tax returns, biggest of all time, as you know, the Trump administration is claiming. Let it all play out, and you will see money injected into these markets, especially from the institutions as well.
Yeah,
I have no advice for anybody else. If you're going to chase, you're going to lose.
Yeah, altcoins and meme coins, you know, that's the money. If you look at it as a population, that speculative population, we've had, you know, more competition outside of crypto than ever because of betting markets.
Prediction markets, a new asset class.
And if you look at the trends of the users, you know, it's up and to the right. But if you look at the number of regulations in states who want to like curtail this a lot and limit it, that's going to go down. So people who are looking for a quick buck, which is pretty much everybody and their dog,
of course,
when they can't get that easy access to like Polymarket, Kalshi, etc., they're going to go back into the market that pumped and still has more, you know, on average success stories than the betting markets.
Of course,
that'll be the crypto space. Yeah, and once rates go down, once like the circulating money supply, people start to have a little bit more money. It goes into risk assets.
Of course,
that's just what happens, and people will want the actual assets, and that's where crypto gets to have a lot of fun.
Jonathan Morgan from StockTwits. I appreciate you for always making time to come on here. You look like you got cut up from shoveling. So
Oh, I hate shoveling.
shout out to the Northeast for dumping. Holy shit, how much was dumped out here? But I appreciate you, and hopefully we can get you on later on this month to talk about the markets.
Thank you very much. God bless.
Have a great one, guys. Tune into Jonathan Morgan, Stock Twits, Crypto Twits. Great organization. Great organization to go ahead and chat it up with. We'll be right back right after this commercial break, or timeout, I should say. And we'll be back with Danny from On Chain Monkeys. That's right, On Chain Monkeys. Probably one of my most successful NFTs that I hold. I'm being serious. Besides like Bored Apes and stuff like that, there have been so many things that I bought, man, that I should have donated the money to charity. But we'll be. I swear to God, I really. Oh boy, man! Holy crap! There have been things I have bought, man. Anyway, we'll be back. Welcome back to the breakdown. All right, we're joined here. By the way, it's 1:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The breakdown, episode 655, sponsored by, powered by Midnight, and sponsored by Gemini. Let's get Danny right on here. Danny, what's going on? How's everything going?
Hey, David. Doing great. Happy New Year. Yeah.
How's everything going with On-Chain Monkeys?
Going great. Yeah. We launched in 2021, so this is the 5th year. So time flies.
What are you guys cooking up? That's what I really want. I remember going into On-Chain Monkeys. It was a free mint, correct?
That's right. It was
but I had to buy. And I remember the first day of On-Chain Monkeys. I forgot his name. I forgot his name.
I know what you're talking about, right? We had that spaces where we're talking about naked monkeys and all sorts of...
It was just wild. But I think he really did add. He added something. He added
Alpha
some
Andy.
wild energy into it. It was wild. But since On-Chain Monkeys dropped till now, tell me what has the product done?
Yeah,
and especially for those who don't know about On-Chain Monkeys.
Sure. On-Chain Monkey, as in the name On-Chain, we're really about on-chain art. And actually, it's really timely. It's always been timely because on-chain art and basically on-chain assets are still pretty much still people are getting their head around. Like, what's an NFT, right? NFT is like a JPEG that you can right-click save, right? But on-chain NFTs are actually JPEGs or images or art or code that's all created on the chain. So On-Chain Monkey started on Ethereum. It's on-chain on Ethereum, and it's there forever. You can't erase it. And it's timely because Nifty Gateway announced that they're shutting down just over the weekend, right? Last weekend they said, "Oh, by the way, we're in a month we're going to shut down. Take all your NFTs off, take all your crypto off our servers." Unfortunately, they minted a lot of NFTs because they're an NFT platform. They minted NFTs so NFTs on Ethereum have this field called token URI, which is basically the pointer to the actual image or the art. And Nifty Gateway, when they created all these NFTs, the token URI points to basically Nifty Gateway, their API server, their centralized server. And since they're going down, right, those pointers probably are not going to work anymore once Nifty Gateway shuts down.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate for thousands of NFTs that were created on Nifty Gateway. So On-Chain Monkey, right, when we created it in 2021, we said, well, this token URI is a problem for NFTs that you actually care about long-term assets that you want forever. You're making an NFT, you're using crypto because you believe crypto is actually very secure and long-lived. And so the token URI should not point to a centralized server. In fact, it shouldn't point to anything outside the blockchain itself. So On-Chain Monkey is this unique 10K collection where the token URI is the image of On-Chain Monkey, right? All these monkeys, SVG monkeys, are actually in the token URI. So not only is it on-chain forever, it also it's compatible with the protocol, the standard. So like OpenSea, every NFT viewer or wallet can say, oh, I look in the token URI to see what the image is, and it's this monkey. And it gets it from the blockchain. It's all on-chain. So that actually was like the main part of the art of On-Chain Monkey. Like, this is on-chain art. It's a 10K collection. And believe it or not, back in 2021 when On-Chain Monkey launched, it was the first 10K collection to do that. No 10K collection had done that before this. But it wasn't really understood, right? Like, when I'm describing even now, it's very technical. Like, what the heck is a token URI? Right? Most people are like that, right? But it shows that eventually with Nifty Gateway, right, shutting down, you see, oh, okay, token URI is actually important. If you have that, pointing to my centralized server, that NFT is going to be lost. But if it's all on chain, it's not. And so that's cool about On-Chain Monkey. That was back in 2021. And then over the years, you asked what's going on with it. We made it even It's on chain, but it's also like this network. It's more than like it's on chain art. It's also network art. This idea that the art is more than just like you could say, oh, some art treats blockchain as a storage medium. You're just storing the art on the blockchain. Um, how we think about this type of art on Monkey is it's art that uses this medium and uses this network. The medium of blockchain is a network of participants, nodes, users, and so we actually created this on-chain monkey um, kind of a Telegram process where we also create this on-chain art on Bitcoin that is connected to the on-chain art on Ethereum, and that's what we've been doing basically last 3 years now. Actually, next week will be 3 years since we created this first uh, on-chain art on Bitcoin for OCM, which is it's called OCM Genesis. It's a 10K collection on Bitcoin ordinals, and we've been growing art on Bitcoin, for the last couple of years, and how
Was your vision always to leave Ethereum and go to Bitcoin?
I like actually all these chains. They all are innovative and bring value to the space. Ethereum with the smart contracts, a lot of things you can do on Ethereum you cannot do on Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the oldest and most secure chain, right? And so there's only one Bitcoin, and you can't reproduce that. And this idea of digital scarcity, I think Bitcoin shows that the best of anything.
The
And in
reason
this
why I
world
say
of
that is because I know that you're a Bitcoiner, so it's
yes,
like,
yes,
and you've
totally.
done a lot of things in Bitcoin, especially to grow it. So, like to me, it was just like, it's cool that what you did, and obviously you were the first. On Chain Monkey was the first to go on chain. We with basically with JPEGs. My thing
Yeah,
is, like
yeah.
in the back of your mind, was it always like, I gotta go on. Once they figure out a way, I gotta go and take this entire collection there because I went ahead and left Ethereum. My on-chain monkeys, I left Ethereum and went over to the Bitcoin side. I'm
Yeah,
sure a
I
lot of
mean,
others did the same thing.
yes, yes, almost everyone did, and Bitcoin, Bitcoin is Bitcoin. It's there's nothing else like it, and also the things that you can do now with Bitcoin in terms of art, NFT art, is very new, and we're just kind of discovering all the kind of neat things you can do. So, you know, the the 10K collection of OCM is there, but then generative art is actually generative art on Bitcoin is a very new thing and it's actually really cool. In fact, we inscribed something just a few days ago that showed where you can easily inscribe more generative art uh, using this kind of a tool thing that we did. I tweeted about it on my my main Twitter account. But yeah, it's I think it's in in terms of art on chain art. I think that is going to be growing, and in this kind of world of AI, where scarcity is important in this world of abundance, right? AI is going to bring a lot of abundance to the world, which is great for everyone. But then what is actually scarce, right? So certain things I think are scarce. I think art, human creativity, the things that you show that there's something unique, emotional, cultural. I think those things will be quite valuable and prized, and some of that will be digital works on blockchains because digital scarcity is where blockchains shine, and Bitcoin is the best at that.
Danny, what do you think? And by the way, everybody who's tuning in, thank you very much for tuning in to the breakdown episode 655. I'm joined here by Danny, the co-founder of On Chain Monkeys, MetaGood. He's done a lot of stuff in this space, but you got to go deep into the bio and his resume on that. Danny, what do you think? A lot of people have this question: what's going to happen with NFTs? Where are NFTs heading to? What chain are NFTs going to thrive on? Is it going to be on Ethereum? Is it going to be on Bitcoin ordinals? Is it going to be both at the same time? Are we going to see a second coming of the NFT boom that we saw a few
I,
years ago?
so yeah, I think people are thinking about NFTs of 2021, right? That the whole boom of just everything pumps and everyone. Some people make a lot of money, while
Yeah.
other people might lose it. It's like meme coin season. Uh, I think of NFTs a little differently. And NFTs are actually a very broad um, all-encompassing like area because in the basically NFTs are non-fungible assets, right? And everything in the world is pretty much non-fungible except for certain things that we fractionalize and make it fungible, like stocks, or Bitcoin itself. Um, but pretty much everything in the world outside of that is like most things we deal with in life are non-fungible. So
Mhm.
how does that what needs, I guess, a token, right? And we do expect this world is going to be tokenized more and more. Assets are going to be tokenized more and more, both fungible and non-fungible. I would say that this the area of NFTs I'm most interested in terms of around OCM is the art aspect. So yeah, for I think that art area is going to be growing. It's only a small part of NFTs, today. I think most NFTs that we think of today are, as I said earlier, around the earlier like boom from 4 years ago, which wasn't so much about art as about kind of speculation on these yeah, more like these fun. They treat it as more like meme coins, which are fungible assets, which we know can approach a pretty high market caps, right, really quickly. So I say NFTs as kind of meme coin, like that type of thing. Probably will people will be a little smarter about like what's valuable versus what's not valuable.
What do you
But
think about that though?
yeah,
NFTs try to make a comeback by launching tokens. That
yeah,
was the thing, launching tokens. To me, like I have no problem with that, but there has to be some sort of utility to it. I know that the word
yeah,
utility makes people want to vomit, but because everybody says, "Oh, utilities," but there has to be something that says, "Okay, there's a reason why this token exists, and this is
yeah,
what it does."
yeah.
And I don't even know. Did On-Chain Monkey, did you guys come out with a token or no?
No, no, we never launched a fungible
Do
token.
you ever think about one or no?
Yeah, we think about it. I mean, I think it's exactly what you're saying, right? What is the reason for that token, right? A lot of tokens, the reason is it's a meme coin, so they want people to just speculate on it. There's no utility. That's the point.
So do you
Um,
think, like, just to stop you there,
yeah.
do you think that by launching one, it would, dilute the project itself?
Well, I
Because
mean,
then
I think
everybody
that
would think it's a meme. They completely like, to me, it looks unless there's a real case for it, like, I can
that's
see
been
you
the
guys.
case for a lot of NFTs, right? People
Yeah,
bought the NFTs because they're expecting a token, and that's the
correct.
reason they bought it. Yeah.
'Cause I can see you guys pull like a Pudgy Penguin type of thing. Like that
I mean,
that's kind of
I,
where I hold, On-Chain Monkey in that kind of a category, not ones where you guys need a token in order to be successful.
yeah, I think it's finding a reason, right? What's the goal? And yeah, for us right now, we're growing art on Bitcoin. We think that's a very um, interesting space. There are more artists that are exploring. It's very new in terms of figuring out how, and that's why it's exciting. It's like how can you create interesting art on Bitcoin? It's not just, oh, you store art. It's not just a file server, right? It's an interesting canvas for the art, and you can create network art. These are all kind of new types of art.
Are you talking to anybody else on the Bitcoin network? Ordinals, like, let's say, oh my god, dog. Let's say dog. Well, like Bitcoin puppets and stuff like. Have you talked to anybody else on the chain in regards to, like,
You're talking about creators or their
yeah, the
communities?
creators, like, what are they doing? Like, to me, I feel like it's a really small community
It is a
on
small
there.
community, and we have many creators and artists in our OCM community. So yeah, I mean, I think it's yeah, we share ideas, on
My thing is, like, I wish Bitcoiners would, like, more and more Bitcoiners are starting to, like, kind of like embrace it and say okay. But that's
yeah.
only because from the standpoint, I think they embrace it from the standpoint of, okay, I could possibly double my Bitcoin here, and I
Well,
get
I mean,
that, it's fine.
Bitcoiners are a very unique community, right? They have this mindset, right? The hodl culture, because they had like if you're still a Bitcoiner today, you hodled for over a decade, right? So why would you want to suddenly spend your Bitcoin after you're hodling for so long?
But I can
It
keep
has
it
to
in
be
the ecosystem, right? If I'm a
yes,
Bitcoiner
yes. No, but
and
they
I buy
will. The
an
thing is,
on-chain monkey, I'm keeping it
it,
in within the ecosystem, right?
they will when the price of Bitcoin goes up, right? Because then they have a lot more wealth, right? If the
Yeah,
price of Bitcoin is falling, they're like, okay, I need to hoard my Bitcoin. I can buy more Bitcoin. But and that's what's happening recently, right? But as the price of Bitcoin goes up at some point, in the future, yeah, that they'll suddenly have a lot more wealth. Then they can spend some of their Bitcoin. So yeah, I'm not worried about that aspect. But yeah, and I know that Bitcoiners are very unique, right? They want to hodl their Bitcoin.
if I were to ask last question, what do you guys see on chain? What do you see on chain monkey ending up in the next year and a half? Like in terms of visibility, like what do you see? I'm not gonna even
Yeah,
say like, in terms of revenue and money, stuff like that. I'm talking about visibility in general. What do you see on chain monkey land? And
yeah,
because you guys
we're
were one
gonna
of the first to, yeah, again, Danny, you were one of the first to put something on chain, literally on chain, not just IP, all that's just on
yeah.
chain. So what do you
Yeah.
see the
Yeah,
visibility side of
I
things?
think that area, I think on-chain art, that's gonna grow. We're gonna keep growing art and Bitcoin, so we'll, be more visible in the art and Bitcoin, uh, communities, and then we'll also be the tokenization is a big deal. I mean, it's been interesting. Like I've been interested in tokenization for a long time, and I think this year, and next, basically in that time frame you said right, next year, 2 years, I think tokenization will be much bigger. More things will be tokenized, more assets will be tokenized. So we'll be
And
we'll
in
be
which
seeing
way
that.
would you use tokenization though for on-chain monkeys?
I mean, and just in general, tokenization,
Gotcha.
many things will be tokenized, so
Yeah, of
the world will be more attuned to tokenized assets, and on-chain monkey is a tokenized asset.
course. Larry Fint and all them institutional players are out there every damn time on Fox or whatever channel it is, talking about tokenization, and
Yes.
that's a cool thing. It is a cool thing, and it's nice to be early within the ecosystem when all this stuff is happening. I definitely appreciate you, Danny, your entire community. Shout out to the On Chain Monkey community. Uh, I hope you win. I really do. You know why? Because I still hold On Chain Monkeys.
Alright.
Okay, and I hope I really hope they do well. I mean, simple art, but like I like simple. I just like simple, and I appreciate it.
Thanks, David.
Thank you so much. That's Danny. Give Danny a follow. I have his link on X on the thread. So if you'd like, go ahead and give him a follow. Go give On Chain Monkeys a follow. Cool crowd, really cool crowd. Great atmosphere. I'm telling you, when I first got into On Chain Monkey, I remember being in Discord. I was in Discord and I'm listening to a space, and it's just like, it's crazy. It's crazy. I forgot the guy's name, but he was funny. He was funny. And like there were people in the Discord going, "No, oh my God, what is he saying? What is he doing?" Because like everybody wants to hear from Danny, right? Everybody wants to hear from Danny. Danny's waiting to get up on stage. Everybody, this guy took total control. Yo, we were dying. I'm like, this is, while people were panicking, I was like, this is perfect. This is what you want. You want to feel some sort of emotion. A lot of these NFTs had no emotion. And the big thing is community. I know that word is it's used a lot. Community, just like utility, right? But like at the end of the day, though, you need a really good community, a die-hard community. Like everybody gets on Bitcoin maxis, and I have my own, I have my own beefs with Bitcoin maxis and the way they act. But without Bitcoin maxis holding and standing their ground, there would be no Bitcoin. So, like to me, you got to have a die-hard community that's willing to mother effer you in your face, and that's fine too. When I join a community and they are ready to mother effort, I already know I want to be a part of that community. I want to be a part of a cult community. Cult communities win. Just look at Tesla. Tesla has a cult community. They will buy anything that comes out from Tesla. That's the kind of community I want to be in. New Tesla refresh. I just watched this. Tesla just refreshed the interior of the vehicles. They turned them from, I think, from grayish to black. People are either getting the retrofit or they're trading in their Model Ys or 3s to get a new Tesla. That's the kind of community you want. That's the kind of community you want, because at the end of the day, you have that kind of strong community, your project goes up. It doesn't matter who founded the project at that point. It doesn't matter who's the founder, who's the co-founder, who's the CEO. It does not matter. It takes on a life of its own because of the community. Anyway, it's true. You want a cold community. When you look at projects, if the community is not ready to run through a wall, get out, run away. There's no reason to be in it. You want a bunch of people that are so passionate, they're willing to stay online for 48 hours, no sleep, to argue with you. I never get offended when people attack me from other communities. I'm like, holy shit, this is great. This is great. Unbeknownst to them, when they start doing that, I start looking at the community and I start saying, oh, should I get it or should I buy more? Those are the only things that pop up in my head. I want to say NFTs, I believe NFTs will make a comeback, but not all of them. I believe the ones that like OCM, Danny was on here, Bored Apes, Yuga Labs with everything they're doing, CryptoPunk. I believe like the real OGs and people that have done something and obviously have a community backing will make a comeback. Things that you've bought that were created on Fiverr, okay, randomly sparked up to join the madness. If those things are at zero, they're staying there. I promise you. A lot of that art was hideous. I remember Game of Thrones came out with NFTs. Hideous. Horrible. So, yeah. It is 1:37 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll be right back right after this commercial break. Welcome back to the breakdown. Everybody's like, when did you get an American flag? When did you get an American flag in the background? We have been working on the office/studio here for 2026. I think red, white, and blue is just my thing, man. Honestly, I love this country so much. I love America so much that it's only right that I go ahead and have the red, white, and blue in back of me 100%. I don't know what's by the way, I have no idea what's happening with TikTok. I have no idea what's happening with TikTok. Very strange. I have people in my DMs saying, "Bro, I can't even find your shit unless I have notifications on." And even that, the notifications are not even telling me that you're live. I had this before though in the beginning when I started live streaming. That sucks. But it is what it is. You know, I was sitting here. Shout out to Jonathan Morgan, and from StockTwits, and also shout out to Danny from On-Chain Monkeys. It was a pleasure to have both gentlemen on the show. I was sitting back and thinking, you know, I'm in a fucked up position. That's right. I'm in a fucked up position. Let me go ahead and just move this around real quick. I am in a fucked up position because I talk about crypto finance and I also want to talk about politics, right? I want to talk about trending news and stuff like that. And it's difficult because like you have to cater to a crypto crowd and a finance crowd, and then you have to cater to a political crowd. And sometimes like I want to say things. Like I really do. You guys, if you guys have been following me for a while, I just want to say things. And I do. I pretty much am pretty blunt. I am pretty fucking blunt when I speak. I piss a lot of people off. But I'm not even trying to piss people off, but I just piss people off because they've never heard somebody speak so openly about topics. And it pisses them off. And then they look at me and they're like, fucking arrogant piece of shit. And I'm not arrogant. I'm just confident. And I think that confuses the crowd too. That really confuses. You know what it is? I have to have two shows. I have to have one show that's all political, and then I have to have one show that's all about crypto. But then, like, the breakdown is about everything. The breakdown isn't just crypto, it's about everything. It's about politics, sports, whatever, anything trending. That's what it's about. It's always been that. It's always been that. But you see, like, I'm in a hard position, right? Because you got to pick and choose. You got to pick and choose which one you want to go ahead and talk about. Which one you want to spend 2 hours touching on. You really do. You really do. And crypto, honestly, crypto is boring. And I say that respectfully. Crypto is a little bit boring right now. It is absolutely boring. Unless you're buying and front running the market, like it's boring. Like all you're watching is sideways action. And maybe boring is fun though. Like maybe when it's boring, that's a time for you to have fun. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud. Thinking out loud, whether it's boring or not. I find it to be boring. But what I find hilarious is when I see people that have left this industry, and I'm talking about crypto, they've left crypto like years ago. They're now coming back saying, I told you so. And they're like, the market's going to come back. And I'm just like watching, like, motherfucker, where have you been? Where have you been? You're talking like you've been in the trenches with everybody. Where have you been? Where have you been? As for politics, I will keep on saying this. Trump has done an amazing job. Could it be better? Yes. But I think Trump has done an amazing job. Inflation's down. Gas prices down. Egg prices down. You're getting big tax returns. You're going to get a stimulus package or a tariff dividends pack, whatever they're calling it. You're getting a check. Rates will be cut. And retail's not even here yet. You'll have a new Fed chair announced. We're getting rid of illegal migrants or aliens or undocumented individuals. You want me to go PC? I'll go PC. Undocumented individuals, we're getting rid of them. Why is Minnesota going crazy? I'll tell you why. It's very simple. I said it this morning, and I'll say it again. They got caught out there with the daycare center shit. So they needed to distract. ICE agents are out there in all 50 states. All 50 states have ICE agents out there. You don't hear any ruckus anywhere else except Minnesota. Why? Think about that. We don't hear much in any other state. I want you, especially the Democrats and liberals in the chats right now, I want you to hear me out. No other states do you hear or see mainstream media pushing, because they have no content to push, but they're not pushing it. They can't push anything because nothing's happening. Nobody's paid protesters to go out there and do shit, but it's only Minnesota. Minnesota is the problem because Tim Walz and the rest of his gang got caught. After years of sending money to these daycare centers that, by the way, it's not just the daycare centers taking in millions of dollars and not having any kids in them. They're using these daycare centers and the people in there to go ahead and then donate to Democratic campaigns so they can get reelected. Like, how is this not being seen? They send money, they look the other way, money gets sent to daycare centers and ambulance transportation companies. They're gathering all this money up, and then 20% to 30% is being sent off to any Democratic campaign. Like, if you're normal and if you have no party affiliation, okay, and you could take the blinders off and you can look at the actual situation, you would say, holy shit, my money is being sent to a daycare with no kids in it. My money is being sent to an organization or a company that claims to transport the elderly, which doesn't transport anybody because it's a goddamn bodega store, okay? It's a corner store that sells coffee in the morning. They're taking money and they're sending it to the Blue Party. Okay? They're sending it to the DNC. Here you go. That's what's happening. So why is there so much fighting or so much happening in Minnesota? Tim Walz knows. Tim Walz knows. And you know what? Here's Tim Walz, and this is why I said we need to see what happens, right? Tim Walz goes on to, like, I think it's called NPR radio, okay? He goes on to NPR radio After having a conversation with Donald Trump. After having a conversation with Donald Trump, he goes on to NPR radio. He says, yes, we spoke, and yes, da 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 da. We spoke about the murders, he says. You see how he sneaked that in? We spoke about the murders. No, that is your interpretation of what happened. That is your opinion. That's not factual. So you speak to Trump, and then you go on radio and you try to act like you're a big boy. That's why you can't trust these politicians, man. You can't. You can't. And then you wonder why Trump says, you know what? Screw this. I'm going to tariff your ass, or I'm going to take away funding from you. Because you have a conversation. You come to the White House, you call the White House, you talk to Donald Trump, you talk to the president, and then you go ahead and do a 180. It's the same thing with Mandani. He comes to the White House, yeah, like he's shooting the shit with Trump, and then he comes back to New York City and he's like, yeah, I told him. You told him nothing. Bro, you can't even shovel snow. I saw how you were shoveling. I saw you shoveling snow. I'm embarrassed. Embarrassed. The mayor can't even shovel snow. He's never shoveled snow in his life. You can tell. You can fucking tell whether or not he shovels snow. He's never shoveled snow. And I got to tell you, CNN, that show where Abby hosts a panel, Abby, you are the worst. You are absolutely the worst host of all time. You do not let, you talk about your fair, you do not let anybody speak. God bless Scott Jennings. Holy shit. They better be paying Scott Jennings a hell of a lot of money, because I would have lost my mind by now. I'm sitting there and I'm listening to people just lying their asses off, putting out some horrific numbers that don't exist. Scott's sitting there, he tries to get a word in, he gets cut off. Every single time Scott Jennings, every single time he tries to get a word in, he's cut off. He's literally cut off. The only time Scott Jennings can actually go ahead and talk about topics is when he's on his own show with Salem Radio, when he's on his own podcast, just talking about all the events that are happening. When he goes on to CNN and that panel, it is horrific. If I'm telling you, I don't know how I would be if CNN invited me onto that panel. I don't know. I don't know. And I'm a patient person. I am literally a patient person. I can sit, I can listen to somebody speak for an hour and then wait until it's my turn. I think they do it on purpose. I think they cut off Scott on purpose to see if they can go ahead and ignite him. And Scott's been accused of, you know what's funny? Scott called it out, and it wasn't, Abby wasn't hosting that night. I forgot who was hosting. Where the kid said, which he retracted real quick. He said that Trump was a part or is a part of a pedophile ring. I think I'm just paraphrasing, but it was something like that. And Scott sat there. I don't know if you guys saw it, but Scott sat there and said, because then another question was posed, and it was like, so you're going to allow and I'm paraphrasing again, allow him to say what he just said, accuse the president of being in some sort of pedophile ring? I'm telling you. And you know what? Scott had, Scott had his opinions on Trump. Scott had his opinions on Trump. Scott sits there, he's like, listen, we all look, I've already said this too. Like, I support Donald Trump. Do I like everything? No. But like 90 to 95% of the things that Trump is doing, I like it. 5%, maybe I'm not a fan of. But you know what? Maybe people aren't a fan of me either. It is what it is. As long as I had this show, I said, as long as we have a two-party system, we will never get anywhere. Because you will have one party continuing to try to go and destroy the other party. It's been happening more and more, obviously, as of recently. There used to be a time where Democrats and Republicans were able to work together towards a common goal and get, productive, bills passed that helped Americans. Now it's a complete clusterfuck. The Republicans can't do a lot of things because the Democrats won't allow them. That's just plain and simple. Now hearing that we might head into a government shutdown again, which is embarrassing. I think anybody who shuts down the government, any politician who votes to shut down the government should have their entire salary taken from them for that year. They should be penalized and fined in some sort of way, penalized within, whether it's votes, whatever it is, and they should be fined. For every day that there's a shutdown, they should be fined. I can guarantee you, if you were to take away salaries, if you would take away health coverage, if you would fine people, then these fine people that represent us, regardless Democrat or Republican, these people would never shut down the government. But guess what? When they shut down the government, they're good. You got people, last shutdown, there were people that were out of work, starving. I don't know how they were making rent, mortgages, bills. But these politicians, they're fine. They're fine. They're getting their salary. They're not losing out on anything. They're still getting their salaries. They're still able to go to work. You imagine they even had thoughts about not paying the military? This is how sick they are, man, not to pay the military. Here you have people that are all across the world protecting the best interest or the interests of the United States of America, and they're thinking about not paying the military. Think about that for a second. That's some demon shit. Demonic shit, I'm telling you. And yeah, man, I'm not big on wars, man. I'm not big on wars. War, unless war is necessary, we shouldn't be going out there and participating in any of this shit. I'm being dead serious. I'm tired of these wars, man. If it's not in our interest, we mind our own business, man. Let them fight it out. Russia and Ukraine want to fight, let them fight. I heard somebody give a take about Israel and Gaza, and I actually thought about this. I actually sat back and I thought about this, and it was probably, I don't know if it's one of the best takes that I've heard. And they said, this person said, you know what? Maybe if I can pull it up, because I think that would be better if I can just pull it up and play it. Let's see if I can pull it up and play it. I can pull it up and play it here. What's his name? Let's see if I can play it. Oh, so right now, oh my God. Me and Alex Jones are head to head right now in ratings. He's beating me a little bit now. He's beating me a little bit right now. It's all good. It's all good. All right, so this is what I heard about Israel, and I thought I kind of thought it made sense. So let me see if I can play this, man. I really did think it made sense. Let me see if I can get this up here.
Hours, would have caused the most damage that you.
Okay, here it goes. This is the one.
I think a lot of people that I know in Israel, including myself and others that are staunch Zionists, think that he is prolonging the war too long and is causing too much damage and irreversible reputational damage. He should have ended it sooner, and he should have went harder. In America, if we had faced such brutality, rape, people getting their heads cut off. I saw videos of people getting their heads cut off. We would have been swift. Within 48 hours, would have caused the most damage that you've ever seen to a country in world history. And Netanyahu, for whatever reason, is capitulating, in my personal opinion, to his own personal image, and that he don't want to look bad. He don't want to be shamed. He don't want people to say that he's committing a genocide. So he's playing in the middle for too long. 2 years of this war is too much. He should have eliminated Hamas immediately, and he should not worry about the naysayers. He's darned if he do, he's darned if he don't. He is not committing a genocide in Gaza. I think that's disingenuous at best, because no one committing a genocide will be giving food or aid to a people that they're trying to kill. They would not be sending leaflets and advising people of buildings that they're going to tear down. The population has grown in Gaza from 1948 all the way up until today. 500,000 they started with. They're at 2 million at this point. When did the genocide start? There is no genocide. People can argue the tactics that Netanyahu is displaying in Gaza, but you cannot be superfluous and add these arguments that seems to, in my opinion, be anti-Semitic in many ways. It's not, these people are terrorists, and not the Gazan people, the regular everyday individual. The terrorist group that came into a country and attempted to commit a genocide against Israel. They would have committed a genocide against Israel to a large proportion if it wasn't for the IDF and if it wasn't for the Iron Dome. Let's not forget, they shot 4,000 missiles into Israel. They tried to kill everybody. The IDF is going in strategically. I wish that people had not died. I wish that they could end the war so there's no suffering. I wish that Hamas wasn't stealing food. The UN confirmed that 96% of all the aid is being looted. I wish that Hamas wasn't doing those things. I wish that Hamas would take the approach of Israel, which means when the rockets go flying into Israel, the people go into bomb shelters. When rockets go flying into Gaza, the terrorists go into bomb shelters, and they make their people stay above ground to be the blunt force of what they receive in a war that they started for no reason. Hamas knew they could never beat the IDF in Israel. Why did they start the war? Why did they initiate conflict? Why did they rape people and do things like that and videotape it?
I was listening, I was, by the way, Tech, I saw what you said. Tech, at this point, anything I say here, they're gonna fucking ban me. So might as well just say what you feel. And that's what I was talking about after coming back from the commercial break. I was just like, anything that I say, it doesn't matter. Somebody's gonna flag it. It's weird. We almost had 300 people here, and then I bring on Tommy Robinson, and it's over. It's like now I got a week's worth of shadow banning. So it's like, This is what I'm talking about. They want to shut your mouth. They don't want you to speak the truth. Like, they really don't. I've been talking this way since Biden was in office, and you know how difficult that was. You know, Biden had all the social media. Biden's administration had all the social media platforms on lock, even Twitter. I don't even know how I got away with it on Twitter, to be honest with you, because a lot of accounts were getting suspended. I was surprised that my account wasn't touched. Very surprised. I know as soon as I started talking about COVID on Instagram, they shut me down, deboosted my account. TikTok didn't let me talk about anything. If I wasn't doing the renegade dance, don't come here talking about anything that's real. So at the end of the day, honestly, you got to speak your truth, man. People will find you. People will find you. People who want to be a part of a truthful conversation will find you. And I think that's I sit back and I think about that. And look, I'm thinking about that out loud right now. You see, you got JD Rabies, whatever his name is. I don't know. I can't even see it from here. But JD Rabies, I'm going to just call him that. I don't know if that's his name, but JD Rabies from TikTok comes in here and says, you're lying. Lying about what? What are we lying about? What are we lying about? Are you one of those many protesters that are being paid by Soros to go out there and say how unfair and cruel it is that ICE agents are out there deporting undocumented individuals? Are you one of those JD Rabies? Are you one of those people that are out there protesting that ICE should not be getting rid of criminals from the United States of America? I think JD Rabies is one of those people. We must. I honestly, I'm so frustrated with Americans. I really am frustrated with Americans. What happened to common sense, people? My American people, what happened to common sense? What happened to common sense? You guys you're out here. You're definitely paid, because no person would be doing this for free. You know what? Now I know everybody's paid. There is no way anybody would be out there negative 20 degrees. Okay. That shit's probably negative 30 and feels like negative 60. You are out there in Minnesota. Okay. And you are protesting the fact that there are undocumented immigrants, individuals in this country taking your money and your resources. There's no possible way. There is no possible way you're not being paid. There's no possible way. Your job is to go out there and to cause havoc. That's it. There ain't no way. Because if I asked you, and I love these celebrities, I love the new, honestly, Hollywood, every single time I see a celebrity come out there, and like Natalie Portman now came out and was crying. She was crying. I can't, hold on, I got to put this on. She was crying. I'm not watching any more of her movies. Natalie Portman crying. It's horrific. Put this on real quick. Horrific. These people, these Hollywood actors, like they don't know how to stay in their lanes. Look at this. Look at this.
Sorry, I'm getting a little emotional because it's really been, it's such a horrible day. It's been a horrible week. And it's very joyful to be at a film festival and in a creative community celebrating film together. But what is happening in our country is just obscene, and what Trump and Kristi Noem and ICE are doing to our citizens is, and to undocumented people, is outrageous and needs to end. And I'm very moved by all of the people coming out and supporting each other in community and showing the best of America, really being like incredible neighbors and citizens. But it's just too much. It needs to end. Sorry, I'm getting so emotional because it's really been, it's such a horrible day. It's been a
She would never take in an undocumented individual into her house. All these people that come out, they would never take an undocumented individual into their house. You think, let me, chat, tell me, you think Natalie Portman would take in any of these undocumented criminals into her house? Nope. She's so glad. She said she's so glad that everybody has come together. Essentially I think I heard come together and to be so peaceful. And Natalie, have you not watched them break down hotels? Destroy small businesses? Man, and when I'm telling you, man, this is it. This is it. This is what Hollywood does to, you would think Natalie Portman, really good looking, man, and a great actress. This is what Hollywood does. This is exactly what Hollywood does. How can I watch another Natalie Portman movie? And she cried on cue. She cried on cue. Listen, I'm sure people care. Like, I don't want to say that people don't care, but this is all bullshit, man. It's all Hollywood acting, man. All Hollywood acting, bro. It's crazy. Americans do not care. You know, to see Americans not care, those who were born here not care about their own country is wild. I didn't see Natalie Portman crying when Obama had ICE agents all over the place deporting people. I didn't see anybody crying when Obama's administration had kids separated from their families in cages. Do you remember that? I didn't see much of anybody crying or throwing any fits. That was okay, though. But as soon as Trump comes into office and uses ICE agents to go ahead and get rid of criminals, that's a problem. Because he's using it. It's crazy. President Obama deported 3 million people from this country that weren't supposed to be here. Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris all said that we need to get rid of undocumented people in this country. Yet when Trump does just that, because he's not all talk, here's the difference. Trump isn't all talk. There are some things that we're still waiting on, though. I'm not going to front. There are some things that we're still waiting on. But for the most part, when Trump says he's going to do something, he's doing it. Why are you so surprised? Why is everybody so? What's mind blowing is that everybody's shocked at what's happening. Trump ran on this. 77 million people voted for this. I don't understand why you can't comprehend what's happening. It's not like it came out of left field. No, like he told you, if I am voted into office, I am coming in here and I am going to straighten out the United States of America. I am going to build back relationships with other countries. I'm going to kick out every single undocumented individual from this country. Any illegal is out of this country. I'm going to make the economy much better. I'm going to bring down inflation. What did he say that is shocking you? Now I have this guy, Tony from TikTok, says Obama didn't use violence. Trump isn't using violence either. You know why? Because Trump and Obama are not out there taking these people on their own out this country. And Trump is using the same ICE agency as the one Obama used. So that stupid ass line that you guys keep using makes absolutely no sense. 0 sense. Trump is using the same organization that has been, by the way, look it up yourself, Tony. He is using a heavily funded organization, and that organization was heavily funded by the Democrats. Go look at the funding. He is using that organization to get rid of illegal and undocumented individuals from this country. But Trump is being violent. Trump isn't out there. Trump isn't out there. He's not riding around in cop cars and unmarked cars taking people out the country. No. Mainstream media, people like Natalie Portman and the rest of these Hollywood actors, okay, they're the problem because their message to you is Trump bad. They couldn't even explain to you why Trump is bad. They couldn't explain to you why Trump is bad. None of them can explain to you why Trump is bad. How is bringing down inflation bad? You couldn't even answer that. How is bringing inflation down bad? How is bringing gas prices down bad? How is bringing down grocery prices bad? How is trying to allow retail to participate in the traditional markets bad? Trump telling the institutions they cannot buy up land. Like, how is this all bad? Do you understand Trump is going against the people that you really despise, and that's the elite? That's who Trump is going up against. Trump is uncontrollable. Trump has billions of dollars, and his billions didn't come from the elites. Trump didn't just get his money by getting into office. He didn't just come into office like, what's her name? Omar? What's her name? Omar, who has a $174,000 salary, and now her net worth is $30 million. No, Trump didn't just walk in to the goddamn White House and all of a sudden become a billionaire. He's been a billionaire. His name earns him millions of dollars. The elites, every single elite that is out there, the elites that cause trouble, that divide America, that divide this entire planet, that divide nations, that cause this insanity, they're the ones who are upset with Trump because Trump is showing their faces. Look at how many people in the EU got upset with Trump. Look how many people and leaders got upset with Trump because these motherfuckers are owned by the elite. These leaders in the EU are owned by the elite. Trump is owned by nobody. And Trump showed them who they were in 4K in front of the entire world. They despise him for that. They despise Trump because he will not bend the knee. He will not bend the knee. And you guys are mad at the wrong people. You're mad at the wrong person too. If Trump never ran for president, let me showcase to you how the elite work. Ready? Before Trump said he was going to run for president, every single person who hates him now loved him. They brought him on the talk shows. They brought him into videos. They brought him into movies. They tried to get an interview with Donald Trump. He had a great show, The Apprentice. They did everything possible. Trump's name on buildings sold out, and they sold for millions. Trump, the minute Trump said that he's running for office, the minute that the elite saw that it was getting serious, that Donald Trump could become president, that's when the machine went to work. Here's another example. Every single one of you guys in this chat or in these chats, you all loved Elon Musk. Elon Musk, the next Tesla. He's our Tony Stark. That's all you heard. They put him into the Avengers. They put him into Iron Man. Everybody, oh, I'm getting a Tesla. I love this. I love Elon. Elon is the greatest. Da 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 da. Elon was the greatest until he saw what was happening on social media. He saw that free speech was being eliminated, and he bought Twitter for $44 billion. And that's when the elite, the machine, went to work. That's when Mr. Elon Musk became bad, because now he buys Twitter, and it was absolutely overpriced. They wouldn't let him get out of the deal. So now he buys Twitter, and he allows other people, even if I don't like them, he allows everybody to come onto the platform. Elon acquiring Twitter allowed Trump to win and become the 47th president of the United States of America. 100%. Did Elon get any applause when he sent SpaceX to save the astronauts? No. Boeing failed. Elon didn't. The same people who loved Elon, as soon as Elon went and became friendly or supported Trump, they started vandalizing Tesla dealerships. They started vandalizing people who are Democrats. They started vandalizing liberal cars, as I call them. Now, I think Trump would have won regardless. But Elon helped secure the win. Elon put his money where his mouth is. He went out there. Obviously, Charlie Kirk, a lot of people were instrumental in getting Trump back in. Trump, they tried to assassinate him twice. Why do you think? The people voted for Trump. It's been 1 year. It's been 1 year. Why are people in America siding with the enemy? Think about what I'm saying here. You guys are crying for dictators. Venezuela, you cry for the dictator. American citizens actually went out into the streets crying. American citizens who have never been to Venezuela went out into the streets protesting and crying for a dictator. Meanwhile, the people of Venezuela were celebrating. I find that hilarious. People in America who know nothing about a country, who know nothing about the culture, who know nothing about the people, are telling, and this was hilarious because New York City Venezuelans came out and started to shut up these liberals that were out here in the streets waving their flag saying, what do you know about my country? What do you know about my family running away 20 years ago? 8 to 9 million people ran away to different countries to escape that country. And yet we had Americans out here crying for a dictator. Yet they call Trump a dictator. Make it make sense. You cry for a dictator, you call Trump a dictator, but Trump allows you to speak in the streets and say whatever you want, even about him. What dictatorship allows for this? You would not get away with this in North Korea. You would not get away with this with Putin in Russia. You would not get away with this in China. I don't know where you think you live. What fantasy world you're living in that you think you can walk into Russia with this kind of attitude? Russia, the police in Russia, they arrest people that breathe wrong. If they see any sort of protest that does not, and by the way, if it does not align with Putin, you're arrested and you're jailed indefinitely. So we have Americans who essentially cry for dictators that hate America. By the way, I just want you to know, a lot of these dictators hate America. You know why they hate America? Because they all have sanctions on them. You know why they have sanctions? Because they've been doing illegal shit. Then you have no kings marches. What king are you talking about? America's never had a king. The closest king we had in America was George Washington, because George Washington was offered a crown and he declined. He said there are no kings in this country. But a lot of you don't know that because you didn't go to school. I bet you didn't know that, right? Well, you learned something today. George Washington declined to be the king of America, okay? Declined the offer. George Washington is the reason why we have and we live in the greatest country in the world. It's because of George Washington and obviously the founding fathers that understood that we can't do the same shit we ran away from. So me putting on a crown would be nothing more, nothing less than what we fought for, our freedom from. So you don't like So you don't like Trump because you think he's a dictator, but you cry for dictators that hate America. That are North Korea is trying to create a missile that can hit America. Next, you'll be crying for the dictator of North Korea. I can't wait for that. It's what I said yesterday. A lot of you guys are dependent on the government. And Democrats have made a lot of people in this country depend on them. And that is the problem. You guys even sided with Canada. God bless Canadians. A lot of good Canadians. God bless Canadians. But Carney, Prime Minister Carney, Justin Trudeau, people who closed down people's bank accounts, Canadian bank accounts were closed down because the truckers went to protest. Who are you defending? And then you're protesting in the streets of America saying that we're protesting out here because we care about Canadians. You have no clue what's happening there. Soon I'm gonna see people I can't. I can't. I am telling you. I said this yesterday. And I've said this a lot already. If Donald Trump found the cure to cancer, you'd boycott the solution and the cure. If Donald Trump, I'm telling you right now, I'll say this again. If Donald Trump found the cure for cancer, you would protest the cure. You'd be out there in the streets protesting the cure. 100%. No, make no doubt about that. It's crazy. It's crazy. Trump is trying to bring God back to America. God. The conversation about God has been lost. Trump brings back the conversation about God, about believing in God again. This country is a Christian country. Yes, it is. It was founded on Christian values. Doesn't matter what religion you are, but it is what it is. Just like the UK, just like England, it was. I mean, there's nothing that's being said wrong. It is what it is. It's history. We lost God. I haven't, but I'm saying a lot of people in this country lost sight of God. Look at the shit look at the stuff that was going on. Look at the stuff that was going on and tell me that anybody had any sort of fear of God. No. Common sense didn't exist. Trump's bringing back common sense. Y'all, 15, 16 years of non-common sense. Where God fear, like who go? I got to bring this up again. Who goes into a place of worship while people are worshiping and starts to protest? Think about what's happening. People are walking into a place of worship, the church. People walk into the church, start protesting. Don Lemon, this idiot, walks into a church along with a bunch of protesters and starts asking a pastor questions. Like, this is not normal behavior. This is nothing's normal. When American citizens are literally praising dictators, real dictators. What are the Democrats running on? I still ask this question, not a single person can answer. What are the Democrats running on? What are they running on? What are the issues? I'll tell you what the issue is. They're running on one, we hate Trump. Okay? So if you hate Trump, then you're going to support the Democratic Party, right? That's really top of the line issue is if you hate Trump, you support the Democratic Party. And if you don't want to work, vote for us. You can depend on us. That's it. The Democrats were literally, do you want me to show you the videos of Kamala Harris and Tim Walz talking about taking away freedom of speech, the First Amendment, and making adjustments to it, and the Second Amendment? And now the Democrats are proudly out there talking about how they are 100% backing the Second Amendment. Democrats are out here talking about they are backing the Second Amendment, that everybody should be able to carry a gun. The same Democrats that have, the same liberals that are out there marching and against guns, get rid of guns and all this stuff, are now saying how great guns are. They're out there saying, make guns great again. Funny how the switch up works. Here, lies. Here, Trump is. Here's a lie from another liberal. Trump is anti-second, and Dems defending it. Just shows you they are there to divide us. Trump is not against. You see, why? Here's common sense. We're gonna do common sense sessions here. Here's common sense. Trump is just saying, as I would say, if you want to protest, you have every right to do so. You liberals have been protesting ever since Trump got into office. So you've had a year of nonstop, and I don't even know, do you guys work? Do you guys even go to work? Because all you've been doing is protesting, so somebody must be paying you. Soros or that guy apparently in China, the guy in China, I forgot his name. He's sending money to organizations to go out and protest. I will have that name tomorrow. So you have people that are paying people to go protest because otherwise you're not making a living, or you're on welfare, okay? And you're draining our money to go ahead and protest about issues you have no clue about. It's just orange man bad. Okay, great. He's saying if you want to go protest, right? Let me say this. If you want to go protest, I said this yesterday, go protest. Have fun. But do it peacefully. You claim to be peaceful people, then go peacefully protest. Go protest. Go have fun protesting, okay? But when you bring a weapon to a peaceful protest with 2 to 3 magazines, 2 to 3 magazines, think about what I'm saying. If you're going to a peaceful protest, why are you bringing a gun? And I understand you can have a carry permit and it's all good. Get it. But if you're going, you know you're going into a hostile situation. There are like, it really is a hostile situation in Minnesota. It is the only state that is hostile towards ICE. Because if there were more states that were hostile towards ICE, you'd see it on mainstream media because all the liberal channels would have it playing. And you know that for a fact. Even the liberals or Democrats can acknowledge that. You don't go to a protest with 2 magazines. You just don't. Why? Why do you need 2 magazines? Why do you need 2 magazines? 2 to 3 magazines? Why? I'm not personally going to turn the guy into a terrorist. Like, I'm not going to say he was a domestic terrorist. I think, honestly, mainstream media and a lot of these people did a really good job brainwashing a lot of good people. That's what I think. But again, that's my take. That's my take. What was his agenda by going there with a gun? I don't know. And I don't think anybody will ever know. His parents told him not to go. Welcome to The Breakdown, episode 655. Sponsored by Midnight, also sponsored by Gemini. Out of any stones, you had to pick the Goldstein. Goldstein, not heard of it. I don't even understand your question, sir. You look from Iran. You look like you can't speak English. I really like your show. Agree or disagree? Listen, Exit, I just want to say something. My show, this show, The Breakdown, and any show that I do, it is not to go ahead and get you heated. It is not to go ahead and I say Democrats and liberals, but there's nothing wrong with those words. There's nothing wrong with calling somebody a liberal. I don't know why people take offense to it. You are a liberal. There are people that are liberal. Okay, you're a liberal. I'm a conservative. You're a liberal. Nothing wrong with it. What am I supposed to take offense when somebody calls me a conservative? Like, I mean, it's crazy. Anyway, my show is about, obviously, we bring on guests, we talk about finance, we talk about crypto, and we talk about politics. I will love to see the day that our country finally comes together and everybody's using common sense. But right now, it's about party affiliation. I'm not so much. Like, you guys think that, but I'm more about common sense. I just look at the situation and say, okay, this is what's fucked up. This is what's wrong. This is what's right. That's how I operate. Bottom line. And it's about having a conversation. I rather have conversations with people who disagree. That's why I never ask the moderators, especially in the TikTok chat, to throw anybody out. I never say that. Keep people here. I like it. I like the fact that we have people here that want to engage in the conversation. Like Foxy, right? Whoever this person is and whatever they identify as in the TikTok chat right now, saying things, don't even understand what they're fucking talking about. They don't even understand what the fuck they're talking about. Scott, I really try to be balanced. I really do. I really try to look at things from both sides. I do. I try, but I don't understand. Right now, I don't understand the Democratic Party. I don't understand what liberals are actually. I really don't understand what's wrong with them. I don't. I watched this and I'm like, what are you doing here? Like, what exactly are you? You're supporting, like, the whole Venezuela thing, right? They're supporting a dictator. I was like, what? What? Scott. And Scott's coming, and Scott is commenting from Twitter. I'll call it Twitter because X is kind of weird. I'm going to say this again. We have we're $40 trillion in debt, right? We're using money to our resources, our money is going to undocumented individuals in the United States of America, and for some reason you have a you don't have a problem with it. It is insane. I really don't get it. You guys work so hard. Well, for those who work, because a lot of you guys don't work. There's no way you have a job and you're protesting. Come on. Unless you're like a part of like the protesters union and shit. Where you wait on bulletins to pop off and you go to some sort of state and you start protesting. I actually got do you know how bad it is right now? I got into an argument with somebody on social media over organic milk. Milk prices are down. So the woman who happens to be a doctor, 100% liberal, she said, well, the price of my organic milk, I paid she paid $9.99 for Horizon organic milk. And I'm like, milk is $2.99. She's like, well, I like mine organic. I'm like, well, I seen if organic milk for $5.99. I didn't know that we had organic cows and non-organic cows. I can't. This is why I'm telling you right now, when you guys talk about aliens and whether or not aliens visited our planet or if they're amongst us, they're not here. Aliens are not here. I'm telling you right now, 100%, there are no aliens on this planet. And if we were visited, we were probably visited once. They saw what was happening out here and they were like, fuck this. We are not abducting any single one of these individuals because if we bring them to our planet, we'll have people talking about pronouns. We'll have protests, and our planet is way too peaceful for any of this shit. Let them fight. You imagine if they abducted one of us, one of these liberals protesting, and they brought him to their planet? They would start educating these aliens on pronouns. I don't believe anybody who has ever. I used to watch when all of us were younger, we watched those shows where like it was like on HBO or Showtime where people would say like I was abducted by an alien and shit, and you kind of believed it. You kind of like believed, oh shit, that it might have happened. Fuck no, absolutely not. The first liberal they came in contact with, we're out. It's the alien. This is what happened. When the aliens actually were thinking about taking a few of us and putting us onto their planets, the alien said, sir, can you come with me? And the person said, you mispronounced my pronouns. I swear to God that happened. I know exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. That's 100%. I don't want to hear it. That should happen. that should happen. Oh my God. That's why the UFOs are always fleeing, right? Because when they see that our like F-35s or B-2s or whatever, F-16s flying around, and the F-16 spots, when they spot a UFO and shit, they're out. They're like, oh shit, they seen us. We got to get out of here. If I was an alien and like somebody like and an F-16 caught me, I'm out. Abort mission. It's not because they're scared of us. I'm sure their technology is so advanced. I'm pretty sure it's not because they're scared of us. Yo, soon the liberals are gonna be protesting. They're gonna be protesting. They'll be out there talking about Trump Trump will not come out with the UFO files or some shit. I don't know, man. You guys make up some shit, man. Every week it's something new, man. Yeah, was this event in Minnesota tragic? Yeah, it was. It was. I'm in the middle on this one. I'm on the middle on this one. But like it's also, law enforcement has a very hard job, man. Law enforcement has a very hard job. They got to think split second. They don't have time like you sitting on a couch to slow-mo the situation. They got to think. And I honestly wholeheartedly do not believe they executed or had any intention of executing the 37-year-old man who died. Like I don't believe that was on their mind. And obviously law enforcement is taught to shoot until they run out of the clip. It runs out of the clip. So I mean, like that's just how law enforcement's taught. Empty the entire clip until the suspect isn't moving. That's it. So it can be perceived as an but like it comes back to me. What comes back to me is, at what point, like, and I asked this question yesterday and nobody answered it. When people are being aggressive with law enforcement, at what point, and if a law enforcement agent feels like his life is in danger, his or her life is endangered, at what point do they use force? Like it's an honest question. Like at what point can a law enforcement agent use force if their life is in danger? And who's to say I don't know. They're fighting in the TikTok room. I was just I stopped for a second to look to see who's fighting and about what. If Biden was still president, if Biden won a second term, if Kamala won, I'm gonna tell you what would have happened. Free speech would have been dead. Because free speech was dying already. So free speech would have been altered 100%. The Second Amendment, finished. Crypto, dead for retail. Good for institutional players and bankers, not for retail. Inflation would have kept on going. They would have kept printing. Inflation would have kept on rising. They would have cut rates. Jerome Powell would have definitely cut rates for Kamala, but at the end of the day, it would have been useless. If Kamala Harris was elected president, we would have been fucked. No country would have taken her seriously. BRICS would actually be a thing. Like BRICS ain't gonna do shit. It's gonna die out. But BRICS would have actually been a thing if Kamala would have got elected. And people would have went away from the dollar. And people would have went away from America in general. And a lot of people will say right now, well, hold on, the dollar is down right now. No problem. The dollar will be right back up there. Give it a few months. I've seen this movie already. You have people, Jackie in this room right now is stating that Trump is trying to take away the Constitution. See, these are the stupid things that are said, right? And then people take it seriously. Trump is trying to get rid of the Constitution. Can you show me where? Where has he put in an executive order to get rid of the Constitution? I would love to see this. If you can show me this, I'll go out and I will protest in Minnesota. Go ahead. Show me where Trump has said he is getting rid of the Constitution. Do you see the stupid things that are said? These aren't conversations. Like, these are imaginary things that are thought up of. Oh, he's taken away what? When? This is the same thing when Trump was about to be elected. They were like, Trump is going to take away women's rights. Trump was the president, the 45th president of the United States of America. He didn't take away any women's rights. He's the 47th president now. He's a year in. He didn't take any women's rights away. Hold on, they're going to hit me with, hold on, watch them. Watch the chat hit me with, the liberals are going to hit me with one thing that's going to try to point to women's rights being taken away, and I'm going to go ahead and destroy it. Go for it. Go for it. I'm waiting. Women are safe. No women's rights were not taken away. Not in his first term, not in this current term. How amazing. You know, it's hilarious. The founding fathers of this country set up the Constitution in a way that not a single person can do what you're stating that Trump is doing. Not a single person can and ever will. That's why I can't take you seriously. You know nothing about the laws here in the United States of America. You don't. Anyway, I see that I'm an hour past my allotted time. I've been on here for 3 hours? Damn, 3 hours. Well, I enjoyed my time. I'll be back tomorrow. We have more guests coming on this week. We'll have more topics on crypto. We'll have more topics on what's happening, or we'll have more conversations on what's happening in Minnesota right now. What's next? California, New York. I'm telling you right now, what's next is California and New York, because as soon as they expose what's happening there like they did in Minnesota, you will have this whole shit start where there will be protests and they'll look for ICE, and it'll be all about ICE to deflect from the current situation. That's what's going to happen. Shout out to everybody who tuned in to me. Shout out to those who could see me on TikTok today. I appreciate you for coming in. I'm going to send them another email to get this situation rectified. Again, I brought Tommy Robinson on, and you can go ahead and watch that episode, 2 episodes of that from the weekend. During Saturday and Sunday, I had 2 shows with Tommy Robinson, and we were talking. I played it on TikTok, and apparently TikTok said, no. You can't do that. You absolutely can't do that. Bless everybody. I love all. Listen, I'm going to end the show the same way I always try to end it. And that is, I don't care who you love. I don't care who you pray to. I don't care what color you are. I don't care about your culture. I wish you all the best. But do me a favor. I don't push my straightness on you. Don't push whatever you do onto me. That's really it. It's that simple. Me and my friends, we sit around. We don't talk about gender. We don't talk about pronouns. We don't talk about religion. We talk about, yo, did you watch the game? Yo, did you see some of these things that were happening? And we can agree to disagree. We ain't talking about what we're doing in our personal lives, in the bedrooms, who we like. We're not doing none of that. Anyway, Shout out to everybody who consistently tunes in. I will bring on more moderators into the TikTok chat. I promise. TikTok live shows. I promise. Shout out to people on Twitter that tuned in. Shout out to LinkedIn. Shout out to YouTube. I love you guys, man. But I got to get going because I got business to do. Okay? I got business to do. Stay safe, guys. Stay safe, man. Be good to each other, man. Be good to each other. On that note, I'm out.